Hey guys, you guys could talk. It's okay. You don't have to.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Good morning, House of Nerds.
Welcome to the House of Nerds show.
This is the Xmas hangover episode.
As you can see, there's one less forehead. Whoever comes up with the best reason why Sergio's not here is gonna win a special prize.
Yes.
Oh boy.
From Sergio.
You're gonna want this prize, yeah.
You're gonna want this surprise, Ruben.
Hey, Mel.
let's rein it in a little bit. It's probably just like a tweet shout out.
I was gonna say something from his wall. Just put that on
his Superman flash.
Yes, that's it. His Superman flash.
You know what? You guys pick. You want his coffee poops, Leah? Leah, that's a little weird. I don't.
You know he's watching this.
Oh, and I hope he's loving it. I hope he submits a reason why he's not here too.
I don't think she meant she wanted his coffee poops. I think she meant that as an excuse why he's not there. He's pooping because he drank coffee.
Yeah,
I think that's what Leo was going for, actually.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, you never know. You never know.
What's up, Cookie Monster?
Yeah.
I see he was in the chats earlier, but
oh, there he is.
That was in the past, though.
The past has been like a minute.
Oh no, that was like 30 minutes ago.
Oh,
yeah.
He and Tara were in the chats early,
chatting it up.
Yeah. Yep.
Tara's G. She's always here.
So this episode is just gonna be super loose, super conversational. There's no real. Hold on.
Order.
I get distracted when the comments pop up a little bit. You know? Sergio isn't here because he played Santa Claus and he's stuck in the chimney.
Damn.
Are there chimneys in Canada? In Toronto?
Are there even houses?
Is it more like metropolitan?
Most places do, man. It's cold, so you gotta make some fires, you know.
I heard he fell asleep without his toque on.
So he caught a cold.
His head froze over.
He had to take a shot every time he said A, and so now he's recovering from that resounding pain.
Oh, that was offensive, Joe. Joe, say A like you guys say it. Ruben, that's not how they say it.
A?
Joe, you're from Canada?
A.
Yeah, he's from Canada.
I'm from Quebec.
From Canada,
Quebecois, yes. I speak French, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I speak resoundingly broken Spanish.
The Spanish, yeah. No, I'm perfectly bilingual, so yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. How do you say pig in French?
Cochon.
How do you say?
Comment ça se dit? Comment tu dis?
Oh, that's a lot. Spanish is easier, right? Como se dice?
It's easy because you already know it.
Because I already know it.
Yeah, but I mean, they're both Latin languages, right? So there's a lot of similarities between the two.
Did you grow up with French, or did you learn it later?
Yeah, half my family's French. Half my family's English, the other half is French. So, yeah.
Nice. Respect.
Same.
Oh, Deviant's from France. Ouais, mais moi, je suis français de Québécois, fait que c'est pas pareil.
All right, now, Joe, do the whole show.
In French? Yeah, no, that's good, man.
You translate for our French viewers.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not a lick of French.
Where's Alberta to Quebec?
Alberta is the same province. Adrian from Tricovie, he's from Alberta as well. Okay. Yeah. Edmonton Oilers, if you watch hockey, that hockey team's in Alberta, so it's more the western part of Canada. Yeah.
Because I think I live under the British,
British Columbia, yeah. Exactly. Alberta's the next province over, so yeah. There's an hour difference in time zones from Alberta to BC. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Enough with the geography lesson.
This is just the real Canada episode.
Yeah.
Sergio is so proud right now.
Look at him.
Sergio's in the house.
Yeah, the lights at.
Hope you have a great Christmas with your kids, Serge.
You didn't
Enjoy
have
it.
to wish him anything. So, Joe, Ruben, how was your guys' holiday?
Lots of food, lots of hangs, lots of throwing my nieces and nephews in the air. Hung out with some friends. Pretty chill.
We're on lockdown, so we got restrictions. So it was mainly just immediate family for us. And my mom was actually able to come down this Christmas because of COVID last year and the lockdown. She wasn't able to come. So I got to see my mom this year for Christmas, which was great. I was looking forward to that. And it was fantastic. Ate a lot of food like Ruben did. And just, going to take it easy today. Maybe eat a little less lighter meals than on the show with you guys this morning. So it's going to be a nice, relaxing day. Enjoy the time off. Well, my sister only lives in the next small town over. So they packed it all yesterday, but I could just swing by and pick up leftovers whenever I want. So,
did you guys get any special gifts?
I got a bunch of books. I always ask for books, so yeah, I got the two first hardcovers for Paper Girls. I got volumes 1 and 2. I've got. I started reading a little more manga this year, so I got the 3 volumes of the drifting classroom. Okay. So I'm
side note, I've also read manga this year a lot more.
Yeah. I went with Akira. I bought the anniversary box set, which is a beautiful collection. And man, I just burnt. I still have the 6th volume. I've been holding off before actually reading that last volume to kind of stretch it out. But I burnt through the first 5 volumes like they were on fire. I was reading the pages as if it was literally on fire as I was reading it. So yeah, Akira is great. It definitely lives up to the hype. Yeah.
I was more talking about the pig.
The pig?
Wow. Joe, you didn't get a pig for Christmas?
Oh, yes. The gift exchange, the Secret Santa. Yes, Elle was my Secret Santa. That's right. She sent me. Well, there's a little joke there, but you have to watch the Pink Buzz to get it. Elle was on an episode of the Pink Buzz, and we did an sex positive erotic episode that which Elle was on, and I found out that I have a fetish for little tails, so she sent me a little pig stuffed animal, little curly tail.
You looked up so bad.
I said, did I hear that
right? Yeah, and you know what's funny? I didn't realize it was a dog toy.
Yeah, that's what I said. She's like, she sent you a fucking dog toy?
I didn't realize because so I don't have dogs, so I'm just I just thought it was really cool because the description said 30-inch pig, and I said that's uncomfortably long for a pig. So I was I thought it would be funny, and then look, on the day it got delivered, it was delivered, and I didn't hear from Joe, and so I'm oh my god, he hates me. He's why did you send me a pig? And I felt really bad. I was because I didn't know if the gift exchange was supposed to be in good fun or if it was a sentimental oh, this is a book that's near and dear to my heart. And then when I saw some of the other people, I was oh no, I messed up.
No, I appreciate it. I thought it was funny.
Okay, as long as you now I'm sure Pat thinks I'm a weirdo sending dog toys to people.
No, I explained it to her. She's like, oh, okay.
Did it have a tail?
Yeah, it had a little tail.
Okay,
yeah.
a little one.
Little curly tail, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Little piggy.
A little too furry for my liking, but
too much fur, not enough curl.
Yeah, exactly. I still haven't seen the Spider-Man movie. I still haven't seen that.
Oh, me neither.
What?
I probably won't see it. I don't go to theaters anymore, not because of COVID. I'm not a big fan of the theater experience, especially now that I have a good TV and sound system at home. I love being able to rent it. You have it 48 hours. You can pause it. If I love the movie, I can rewatch it again the next day, which is So I'm converted to a home theater type of guy now. So I'll definitely hit it though when it comes out in streaming.
Yeah, I'm the same. like the year before, well, in 2019, I went ahead and got like that Stubbs pass. So like that was like my escape from the kids and everybody. So I would go to the movies by myself like 2 times a week. I would just go, but then, you know, COVID happened, and unfortunately, the last movie I saw in theaters was the Grudge remake, and that like really ruined any will for me to want to go to the movie theater ever again. I was like,
that was rough.
It was awful, and so now like I don't think I could go to the movies because I don't think the way my stomach's set up, and then just being able to be home this whole time, like having to sit there in public for 2 hours, like I don't think I could do it.
And it's happened to me where, like, you know, I like to have a snack. So then, like, I should try to go to the bathroom before, and you don't really have to go pee. Then you're halfway through, especially now, the fucking runtimes of these goddamn movies are like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So then, like, after 2 hours, you're like, fuck. And then you're like, so you're not enjoying the movie because you're trying to focus on not pissing your pants. And so you're not paying attention to the movie. So you anyway, I'm over it. I'm like, all right, I need to go take a piss. I'm going to pause the damn thing, go take care of business, come back and enjoy the movie.
Oh,
take a piss again in 20 minutes.
Take a little nap break.
As anyone knows, as you get older, your bladder doesn't work as effectively. So, you know, once you break that seal.
That's why, like, we have a lot of really cool theaters here that have like a bar and like you can order beer and drinks and cocktails and stuff. I can't do it though because alcohol goes through me like say one pint, and that's like 3 trips to the bathroom in one movie.
And see, I'm old school. Like the theater I was going to like had all of that, but I'm so cheap. Like I would like bring a couple shots with me, and I'm just gonna pour it in my Coke. Like I'm not.
That's pretty cool. That's smart.
Yeah. See, we have that too. I think Cineplex Odeon has a VIP lounge where you can order food, drinks, and they serve you right at your chair, so you don't have to get up to miss anything.
Oh yeah, that was the best thing about the Stubbs, like when you had like the premium, because they would bring it to you like
exactly.
And I just remember the first couple times I used it, I don't think it was very popular, and so I felt like, do these people think I'm better than them? Because I'm like in the back and these people are bringing me my popcorn and like my snacks and stuff, and they're all like walking theirs in. I'm like, couldn't be me. Could not be me.
I wouldn't even. I'd be like, that's right.
I'm VIP, guys. Sorry.
I'm that person, you know. Like,
not the VIP.
You actually get up to go get your popcorn. What are you doing in this section? Get back in with the.
And it's crazy because it's a free service. I'm like, you're not even paying more for them to bring you the stuff. Like, you guys are not doing it right. Like, you want to see them scoop it? I used to work in a movie theater. Couldn't be me.
Me too.
I know how it's made. That was my first job.
It's cool.
Nice.
What chain did you work at?
It was like a hometown theater called like.
Okay, so a small. Okay, yeah.
In Georgia, the middle of nowhere. There was literally nothing by this movie theater. It was like the scariest woodsy location you could think of. Like you're for sure gonna get murdered here at some point.
If you're alone taking the trash out.
Yeah, and then like they would have us working there until like 1-2 o'clock in the morning on the weekends, and I was like 15, 16, and I'm like pretty sure I wasn't supposed to be working that late.
I was about to say, what's it like in Seattle or Washington?
Oh no, that was in Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah, I went to high school in Atlanta. Well, if Leah's in the chat, like Metro Atlanta, I guess.
Yeah.
In the country.
My first job was at I was going to start it off by saying at an office, but at that office, I cleaned the offices. I was little janitor boy.
And how old were you? Was this legal, Ruben?
Yes, legal.
They sounds like they were forcing
Child
you to come
labor.
Yes. Yes, I was chained up. And
don't mention the company, just the office.
They had a little cage in the concierge closet, fucking Ruben with a little blanket and a pillow,
the chain around my neck, and they threw
me. Ruben, now you're projecting. Okay.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Elle, for all eternity.
First job was a paper boy. I think paper boys were on their way out when I was a kid. Like you didn't see little kids doing it anymore.
Calm down.
What?
Yeah. I did paperboy job for a little while, but one of the clients insisted that I bring the paper to their door and put it inside on a little chair inside their kitchen, like just open the door and put it. But they had this dog and it hated me. And I swear to God, if it got anyway, and they always left the chain, long enough to get to the front door because they like having their dog that, scare people and protect the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I quit after a while because they're like, no, he's more bark than bite. I was like, well, I don't know that. He's snarling. He's got fucking drool coming out of his mouth. And, so I didn't last long.
Oh no, it wasn't to age you. It's just I just remembered that there was like all those like kids going missing when I was a kid who had paper routes and stuff. And so when I was a kid, it was like more adults doing it. You didn't see kids doing it anymore because of that.
Oh, I thought you meant like the paper business was like going away.
No. I'm 32, so like there was still newspapers. Are there newspapers now? I don't know. I don't really see them anymore.
A lot of them around here anyway. I don't know, but a lot of them are closing down and just going the digital subscription route. Yeah.
So I don't know. So
comics.
I was supposed to plug the award show that's happening. But listen, did I get the pictures for it? No.
I think it's January 9th.
January 9th, regular time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll link the form, or it's going to be in the description. Or you can look at it on Twitter or go to our beacons. I think it's just houseofnerd.beacons or something like that. And not they're trying a convenient way. I just remember like one story was like, and then they ended up finding like the body in like concrete in somebody's basement. Crazy. That's America though. So that's America. That's like a Sunday for us.
That's Georgia though.
I think it was in New York. I don't know. It happens all the time though. I'm pretty sure it was like it got to the point where it became like urban legend, but it's actually happening. But they used it to scare you. Because I remember at one point, like we would just leave the house. I used to sleep with my window open, no screening, but I'd lock my door. I'd lock my room door, but sleep with the window wide open.
Okay. I'm sorry, Elle, but I don't think that screen's going to help you much, whether it was in or not. That screen wasn't going to protect you from anyone breaking in and trying to kidnap you.
Right.
But I put my screen in. I don't know how they managed to get in and get me.
and like I would justify it because my dad, he hated that. He's like, you got to stop doing that. You cannot do that. And I'm like, okay, chill. But I would still do it every night.
Chill.
And he wouldn't know because he worked overnight. So we had a babysitter overnight. And so I'm like, babysitter's not going to say anything. And then at one point, like my dad just stopped having a babysitter for us. And it would just be us like all night. And I'm pretty sure that's why I failed 7th grade, because I would stay up from like, I'd wait for him to check in when he got to work. And then I would go on to like AOL, like dial up. And then I would stay on the computer and like play The Sims until like 7 o'clock in the morning when my dad would get home. And then I'd be like, okay, ready for school. And I'm like dying because I haven't slept in 3 days.
Was it worth it?
It was.
Were your people that you created in your little town and family?
My little towns. They needed me more than the school needed me. They were making straight A's in the game. That's all that mattered. But yeah, the award show, we have there's a giveaway. You can win a little Batarang.
Yeah.
Or from Sergio's personal Batarang collection. Or like what is it? Like a 9.6 something?
9.6, I think it was, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Was it? Am I getting the book right?
I don't remember what the book.
Killing the Children, I think.
Number 1?
No.
Imagine, like, and people would be jumping off rooftop, like, fucking murdering each other to try to win.
He's generous, but not that generous. Okay, so we're just gonna do a little year in review, just talk on stuff that we've read this year.
Oh,
again, super casual.
One quick shout out to Cookie Monster. I watched Pig and I loved it. It was great. It actually made one of my top movies of the year. So it's
Pig.
Awesome.
I watched it earlier this week or earlier last week for the first time, and it was cool. I wish I had never heard of it and found it organically, though. You know what I mean? I wish that it was something that I had no idea any idea, and it was just something I put on because I felt like I had a whole lot of expectations.
See, I had the same thing, expectations, but it didn't let me down. And often, when you go in with big expectations, you enjoy it less because it's a bit of a letdown. But this movie did not let me down at all. So, I mean, I could see why Cookie loves it. It's a solid, and Nick Cage is, it's nice to see him do more of a subtle performance, not like this over the top acting all the time. Like he's good at that too. So, and he does it fantastic in this movie. Like,
and
really
and you said you started training for truffle farming.
Yeah.
Smelling the soil, shaking the branches,
letting people.
And I actually have some years experience in truffle farming on Stardew Valley, not in real life, but so when I saw what the movie was actually about, I was like, I've been finding truffles. I know how to get those.
The movie is called Pig with Nicolas Cage for Anya, who's
it's on Hulu right now. If
I got it for here we don't have it yet. I had to rent it, but it was 99 cents to rent here in Canada, so that's not bad. I mean,
nice.
Yeah, I mean $1. I mean, I probably lose $1 worth of change every day, so why not?
You just walk around and it slides out your pockets.
Yeah, when I have to, if I forget to empty my pockets before I get in the car and I sit, my pockets are loose, so then it all falls into the fucking.
He has shallow pockets.
So every spring when I clean out the car and do the big cleaning, I usually always find like $5 to $10 worth of change in my car underneath the seat. So.
Oh, I remember I had to start. My husband got on me about taking the money out of my car because I would pay for stuff and then just throw it in whatever receptacle that's by me. If it's I don't know what, the dashboard or the middle console, I'll just throw it wherever. I don't care. And he's like, you got to stop doing that. And then you leave everything open. If you're gonna rob me right now, in my car I have 4 credit cards, my driver's license, and I just leave them in there. He's like, you can't keep doing that. I'm like, yeah, well, it happens.
Yeah.
My change goes in the cup holder.
You have a cup holder in your? Oh,
see, I don't smoke.
I thought you meant you had a cup holder, like a car cup holder.
So I don't smoke. So
yeah.
No, I thought you meant a change cup in your cup holder.
Yeah, I put all my change in my ashtray, so that solves the problem.
In your ashtray?
Yeah, because you close it, so if, don't want to be mean, but some people smash your windows for not much, so never leave a bag in your car or anything, because
I'm so guilty of everything. I leave boxes in my car, and you know what it is though? I think people look in my car and they're like, I don't want to even deal with that because I have I specifically wanted a minivan, so I know people make fun of me for that all the time, but I love my minivan and it's so much room, it's so spacious. But really, let's be real. There's French fries and kids' toys all over the place. I'm pretty sure they look in there I don't even feel like digging through those fries to steal.
They're wearing those fucking cockroaches and shit and stuff. And
it's not that bad.
I steal something from here. Yeah, I might fucking bring cockroaches home and then infest my house or something.
It's not that bad.
Some blobby pins, sunflower seeds, tater tots, the works.
But when I tell you, when we moved, there's still stuff in my car that I did not move into my house in March. I just was like, you know what? It's a minivan. I have space. Just leave it in there. I don't care. Which probably means I don't need it, which means I should get rid of it, but whatever. All right. So, Joey.
Yes.
We're going to have you go first.
So you want me to? All right, here we go. All right, so Barbaric. This is a book from Vault, written. Oh shit, I don't remember who wrote it. It's more to anyway. Moretti, yeah, he wrote another book for AWA, I think Archangel 8. So you might be familiar with that. It's about a barbarian called Owen who has an axe and he gets cursed, where his axe comes to life and his axe judges people whether they deserve to be executed or not. So it's a fun book. The axe is a great personality. It's a great character, and it's fun to have like the weapon and an inanimate object become like a main character in the book. So I loved it. I mean, the interactions, the axe actually does get drunk off blood. It acts like alcohol to him, so he gets all loopy. The more Owen kill people, the more the axe gets drunk, and it's a fun read. Like, and the lore in it is, I was surprised because I thought it was just going to be, maybe a gimmicky thing, but it looks like there's going to be some pretty deep lore in it, like with witches, and they're going to be building a fairly large world, I believe. And I think the hardcover is coming out this week, or it came out last week. There's a hardcover coming out for it. So if anyone's interested, Vault is starting to do hardcovers, so you can go pick up the hardcover for that,
Nice.
which should be out in the coming weeks, if not already.
Yeah, this has been on like my short list for an embarrassing long amount of time.
Oh, and there's actually another character, a witch, that has tattoos, and her tattoos, like there's knives and stuff, and her tattoos can actually become weapons through magic, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there, man. Yeah. This is my surprise book of the year. I got this because I like Lobo, so I figured, and I like Crush too. I thought she was a cool character, so I put it on my poll, and I enjoyed this way more than I ever thought I would. It's a fun book. Yeah, it's a fun book that kind of in the Deadpool kind of breaking the fourth wall. It's a fun read. It's humorous. The pacing is good. I mean, it's just a really fun story. Like, if you dig that kind of stuff like Deadpool or just more lighthearted stuff, then you should pick this up. It's really fun. It leans a little bit towards the YA slightly, but it's still got some pretty serious moments in it. So yeah, it was really fun.
I think it really walks that line where it could, adult content, teen content. It walks it very well, and even I think it's a good introduction even for Lobo as a character to maybe the younger audience. He's more palatable. Is that how you say that word?
Palatable, yeah.
In this one, and it's like as like a long time reader, you're gonna read it and you're gonna be like, you're waiting for Lobo. He's about to do something trifling. You're waiting for it to come, and then when it happens, you're still like, why? Why'd you do that?
Yeah, and there's some nice winks to like the early miniseries from Alan Grant and Keith Giffen. Like the artist gives some links towards Simon Bisley, so Lobo fans get a little bit of fan service throughout the series as well. So if you're an old school Lobo fan, even the cover where Lobo's in prison, I think for issue 2, and she has the jacket there that says "Bite Me, fanboy." There's a bunch of little winks to Lobo's reincarnation from the 90s, from the early 90s. So they pay respects to Lobo in the best kind of way. Like, they're very respectful towards the character.
And Mariko writes this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and she's I love what she's done with Detective Comics. That's been like the other ongoing I've been reading by her.
Okay. Is Dan Mora still on that?
Good question. I just know Mariko's been writing it, and I've been loving it.
Okay.
I know.
Okay. Because I know Dan Mora was on that for a while. I don't know if he still is, but I haven't been picking it up.
I've been picking up just the Bermejo covers. Hold on. Then we have
Jenny Zero. Everyone that knows me knows I'm a huge Dark Horse fan. And this year was the year I think Dark Horse just put out one hit after another, and Jenny Zero's no different. It's about a how would you say, a jaded, kind of doesn't give a fuck, self-destructive girl who comes to find out has kaiju powers, and she's the only one they can turn to save the world and fight these giant monsters. And it's I like I agree with people when we talk, and they say it's kind of like if Paris Hilton became a superhero kind of deal, and it kind of has that vibe to it a little bit. The humor, I love the humor in this.
Mm-hmm.
It hits home with me, so I find Dave DeWanch and Brockton McKinney are the writers, and I find their humor is just is made for me. Like, this might not be for everyone, but their humor hits home with me, and they do a great job of delivering jokes. So she starts a joke and the punchline is on the turn page. So it's like it delivers on the turn page. So you don't know what the joke is till you turn and read it, which I thought was fantastic. And I had it like this book, when I read it, I always have a huge smile on my face every time I read it. It's really good. And I've listened to a few podcasts with DeWanch and Brockton, and just listen to them talk and interact. You could see like these two guys just hit it off, and they're a perfect team up to be writers on a book together. And you could tell in the book that they gel really well. Yeah, It's a fun book. And I think the trade is coming out in the middle of next month. So anyone who wants to pick up the first arc, I think it drops January 12th, if I'm not mistaken, or January 8th. So you can pick up the trade pretty soon, in the next couple of weeks.
Hey, Joe, I was gonna say, I know you say you like Lobo. Are you reading Superman and Lobo?
Yeah, I picked that up. Yeah.
Sweet.
I've only read the first issue. I have the second. I haven't read it yet. It's on my pile, but it's hard to tell from the first issue. But I mean, it's your typical stuff. It's got Tim Silly and Betty. What's her name? I can't think of her first name, but they're the same team that write Money Shot. The writing team. So if you like Money Shot, then more than likely you'll like Lobo and Superman, because it's the same writing team.
And
you got America is on art. So it's like that's a powerhouse team on that book right now, So yeah, Sarah, thank you. Sarah Beatty is on it. So they're the writers for Money Shot.
Expect to write something else, not Superman.
Well, Lobo's in it, right? And he's a bit of a, you know how Lobo can be. He can be pretty.
No, I have the issues. I honestly have not read them yet, though. They're somewhere in my read pile.
Simon Bisley does a variant cover for issue 1, or is it 2? I can't remember. But I mean, I was like, oh fuck, I had to pick that up because Bisley is the ultimate, like, he's Lobo to me. Like, when I think of Lobo, I think of Simon Bisley drawing Lobo. So I mean, I love the fact that they put out a variant cover from him. That's when I really dig variant covers, when they bring like the original creators or the people who initially worked on a character, and they bring them back to do a variant cover on newer iterations. Like, I'll pick those variants up any day of the week. And yeah, it's a solid book from the first issue. I mean, you got a really solid team there, so I think it gives you a good idea, knowing the creative team, knowing what they've worked on at Vault on Money Shot. So you know what you're in for. Ultra Mega. This is a book. Well, basically, Jenny Zero and this book have two things in common. Well, there are two books that they were fringe for me. I almost didn't put them on my poll, and I'm so happy I did, because so far this year in 2021, the books I loved the most were the books I almost didn't pull, and they turned out to be like the biggest surprises for me and the ones I enjoyed the most. And this is another kaiju style story, although this one is more has more of a horror element to it. I'd almost say it's more of a horror book than a kaiju book. And it's James Herron is the writer artist, and every issue of this is 48 page to 64 page issues. So these are thick issues, and it's a 4-issue. The first arc ran 4 issues. The trade is already out now, and it follows the story of the Ultra Mega. It's anyway, there's powers, and the way it is there's an infection that turns people into monsters, and with the Ultra Megas, there's kind of a reaction. They're connected in some way, so the good and the evil can't live one without the other kind of story, and it's a fun story. The art is beautiful. If you dig like horror, kind of fantasy horror stuff, that kind of has a little bit of that fantasy horror element to it. And it's set in like a dystopian kind of type of future as well. So there's quite a few little genres being mixed together in this one, and it's a beautiful book. And I think the trade has already been out for several months, so anyone can go pick this up in trade form if you're interested in it. And it's a really fun read, A lot of action. I'd say if you dig Daniel Warren Johnson's art, you'll dig James Herron's art, because there's very similar aspects to their art style when they draw action scenes and stuff. So definitely, if you dig on Daniel Warren Johnson, go pick it up. You'll dig James Herron's art on this big time.
I think Jenny Zero and Ultra Mega. Usually, I'm not into kaiju. I'm like, okay, I get it. But these two were so well written, and I feel like they were written towards a more universal audience versus super niche kaiju. So
yeah, me too. That's why I was hesitant to pick them up, because I'm not a big kaiju fan either. But maybe I'm starting to realize maybe I actually am. So it helped open my eyes to maybe something new that I'll enjoy in the future. So I'll definitely maybe give a straight, more pure kaiju book a chance now after reading these, because maybe it's a nice little introductory, nice little buffer into maybe something more like Ultraman or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. All right. This series is by James Stokoe. Orphan and the Five Beasts is another Black Horse book, which I really love. Like, this series has issue number 2 is hands down my favorite single issue of 2021 was Orphan and the Five Beasts issue number 2. And this is has a manga flair to it. It's Mo is a I don't know. She's not a monk, but she's in training her whole life to fight these people that became so powerful they become like gods or beings or demons, and she has to go and kill, which are the Five Beasts. And she's on a trek to go get revenge for her master who gets killed. So she has to go kill the Five Beasts and restore peace and order to the kingdom. And so you follow it, and it's ridiculous. Like, the action, it's fun. It's ridiculous. The art is just fantastic. Issue 2 has a character called Thunder Thighs, and I don't want to spoil too much in case you guys read it, because there's a reveal in it that's just bonkers, out of this world. And it definitely gives me off vibes of some older Sam Raimi kind of movie vibes, like like really awesome B horror effects kind of vibe to it. It's really fun. And I think I'd like to say the trade's coming out soon, but that's the one complaint I have about this book is it releases every maybe 2 to 3 months. Because James Stokoe does everything on this. He does the lettering, story, art, everything. So the release schedule on this isn't very consistent. But the last issue I think is coming out I think it was solicited for February. It's a 4-issue run, and issue 4 is coming out in February. And the first issue came out, just to give you an idea, came out in June or July, the end of June, beginning of July. And the 4th issue is just dropping the final issue of this February. So it just gives you an idea of like how inconsistent the releases have been for this, but it's worth it though. So if you want to wait for the trade, I think that'd probably be the best way to read it, because you don't have to wait so long in between. But I would highly recommend people pick this up once it's out on trade. Or I don't hear people talk about it that much. So you might be able to find the floppies if you go out there and try to hunt them down.
I think with 1 issue left, I'm probably, because I love the art in it. And even just reading some of the pages, I was like, what is going on? So for sure.
And if people aren't familiar with James Stokoe, he's the one who drew, is it issue 4 of the Marvel Reborn. The story with Rocket Raccoon. Anyway, he was the artist on that. And I think that's another reason why this book got delayed, because he got a lot of gigs drawing stuff for DC and Marvel in between. He also did the Clown Hunter stories on Joker Warzone. He drew the Clown Hunter story there. So if you dig the art there, that's the artist. This is his book. This is his baby. So if you dig that, man, you're in for a treat with this one, because there's no editors around to tell him what he can and cannot do with the characters he's putting on the pages here. So if you dug his stuff on those 2 issues for Marvel and DC, then
okay, I see.
You'll definitely be into this. Yeah.
And I don't have the stills for if you want to talk on the other stuff.
I backed Trakovi was a Kickstarter I backed, which I loved. It was fantastic. I like a lot of indie stuff, so it definitely has an indie vibe. It's gritty. The art style is definitely unique. So you could go pick it up at 3press.ca if you want to go check that out. He's selling it on his store now, so that's a great Kickstarter that I backed that I loved. What else? We Live is a book that kind of bled into 2021, so I didn't put it on my list because I nominated it last year for 2020. But that's another great book from Aftershock. The trade's been out for a while, and it's coming back this spring for the second arc. So I'm looking forward to that coming into 2022. I don't remember what I put on my list for you now. I'm trying to think.
It's on the ticker.
It's on the ticker? Oh, man. My eyes are horrible.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon? Oh, yeah, Cinnamon. That's a Happy Tank book drawn by Victoria Douglas. They're a cartoonist. So that means story, art, everything's done. It's a 3-issue series about the interpretation of what the creator thinks, how the cat sees the world. So it's a story of their cat and how they think they interpret the world, or how they see it through the cat's eyes, which is fantastic because it skips back to the real world and the world how the creator thinks the cat perceives the world, which is a lot of fun. And the trade isn't out yet. I don't think it's out yet. I think it's slated for February. So I think you could pick up the single issues pretty easily if you go to your comic shop, because it wasn't a huge hit. Like a lot of indie comics, they don't sell as many as maybe the big 2, but I think you should be able to track it down. It was fairly popular, so I think shops ordered enough copies. So, man, go. If you're an animal lover, you'll enjoy this. Especially if you're a cat lover, it'll definitely hit home with you, and you'll find it a lot of fun. Barbaric.
Oh, and our favorite, Darling.
Oh yes, Darling. How can I forget? This was one of my favorites. Was Darling for 2021. This is a Source Point Press book, written by Michael Fleisack and Todd Hunt, and illustrated by Dave Mims. And if you've watched this show, The House of Nerds, they've interviewed the writers, and man, I won't elaborate too much because if you're watching the show consistently, you know how everyone feels about Darling here on this show. And I just echo the same sentiments as Sergio and Elle and everyone else. Darling is definitely a book you want to go pick up. The trade is out now, so you can go to Source Point Press and order the trade straight from their website. No problems there. So I definitely think this is a book you should check out, because I think it's going places. If you're into Vertigo back in the day, DC Vertigo, this definitely has like that kind of vibe to it, like the old school Vertigo vibe. So yeah, it's a fun story. Yeah. And
cool.
One of my favorite characters of the year, Mr. Finch. I love that. I love that character.
Yeah.
It's a great character. So it's worth reading it just for Mr. Finch. Such a fantastic character in that book.
I think when I knew I was like obsessed with it was when they did like the backstory for Delilah. Like they have a whole backstory for the gun that's used in the book, and it's so good.
Yeah, there's so many. Yeah, it's a fun read, and I think they are building such a wonderful world.
Yeah.
Like not just like you go in thinking the story's going to be about this, but in 4 issues they built out like branches from other characters to build this world that they could like the next arc. I don't even know if they're going to follow the main character from the first arc, if they're going to go off and kind of focus on other characters, which is wonderful the way they weaved it, because they can go in any direction now.
Yeah.
They didn't shoehorn themselves into talking about this one character and that's it. Like they built this world where they could go off and just spin a story from so many different characters from this first arc. It's wonderful. Yeah.
When Michael and Todd were on, I think they said that they're writing it more. The next arc is more like one-offs, like a series of one-offs that are all connected, or something like that. So, which is interesting because we've been inside of, Francis's head mostly, and so I'm curious to see what that looks like translated when it's different people.
Yeah, exactly. And I just dig the art in it. I mean, that's my style of book. It was great. It was that was another one I had to add to my list because it was a fringe book on my list, and then come to find out when I was reading up on it, the Source Point Press, many of the proceeds go to charity to help with addiction, mental illness, and all that. So, and Source Point Press matched a certain dollar figure that the book came in, and Source Point Press matched and donated that to charity. So this book actually helps support people with addiction and mental illness. So when you buy this book, you're actually helping out people that are in need. So, I mean, when I heard that, I was like, boom, give me both copies. I ordered both copies on my pull. So I have it on my pull with both copies going through the whole thing now. So, I mean, it's nice to see a publisher and creators actually, comics isn't an industry, especially smaller publishers. It's a tough business. They don't make much money. To see a smaller publisher do this and give back is definitely a very charitable thing that should be praised and recognized. Yeah.
All right. Ruben, you ready? It's your time to shine, Ruben.
It is my time to shine. So this was what?
Huh? What's that? I'm just pulling up the.
So this was an eventful year for me. So this was the year that I got serious about collecting.
Why is it not ticking?
Why are you ticking? So
Ruben, that's my bad. I didn't make it a ticker.
That is your bad indeed. No, we can do this. We can work with this. Up until this year, I really just collected trades. I just read a lot online, and did a lot of trade paperbacks just because that's just what was the way to go, buying in bulk kind of thing. But this year I got to really get the experience of collecting books, which was a whole lot of fun. Those who don't know me, Aquaman is one of my favorite characters in comics, and I've read just about everything by him. There's a few runs I'm missing, but this is a really good year for me to start getting serious about collecting, because this was the year that DC celebrated his 80th anniversary, and this was cool for me because I've just got done reading a whole lot of his work, like from Jeff Johns, Jeff Parker, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Dan Abnett, and a lot of the previous writers from throughout the years came together to write this anthology for Aquaman. It was a whole lot of fun. And what was cool about it was that they didn't just celebrate Aquaman, they celebrated his lore, his supporting characters like Black Manta, Ocean Master, Jackson Hyde, Mara, Tula, just the Aqua family. So it was great. And when they released this is art by Jim Lee. And this is probably one of my favorite images of Aquaman that I've ever seen. Excuse me. It's a classic, him riding the horse, or the seahorse, and him with his trident. And that's the good look for Arthur Curry. Like, nowadays, it's just them acclimating him to look like Jason Momoa, shirtless, tattoos for no reason, long hair. There's a lot of discourse about that, but hey, like in his current run, or what he's got going on right now, he's got a shirt on, so that's a start. But
you prefer your Aquaman shirted
because that's how he was created. That's how he's supposed to be. He's not a tool, man. But
a tool, man.
He's not a tool, man. But
either way,
Excuse me, I have the sniffles. I got the cruds from my dusty hometown. But it was just great. There was a lot of great variant covers. I got this one. I got a second one where he's battling Ocean Master and Black Manta, paying homage to Aquaman 35, which was Black Manta's first appearance, and it's got the three of them just kind of going at it in the front. So this was a good year. It was fun for Aqua fans. Unfortunately, like with the reception from his last run, sales tanked, and so they're taking a while to come up with their creative team for the next run. But I guess we'll see that
Is
fruition.
Aqualad Aquaman right now? What was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Deep Strike?
Target.
Oh, Deep Target. Is it called Deep Target?
It's Deep Target. Yeah.
Deeper Target.
Deep.
It's just a weird book. Be honest, it's a weird team up.
Are you reading it?
Weird. No.
No, I won't be honest. It's crap. Like
I looked at the covers and I said, "What is this?" And then the name of it, Deep Strike. No, thank you.
Deep Target.
Deep Target. I'm sorry.
I don't know why I'm getting offended. It sucks.
I just don't put deep in the title. You know, I don't need that. Just call it Aquaman and Green Arrow.
But it's not that like cold turkey. It's Joe. If you don't know, Oliver Queen and Arthur Curry.
He said I hate it. Let me tell you.
Let me tell you why. Like I can't be mad. Like DC cut a lot of titles, but to celebrate or honor Arthur Curry and Green Arrow's 80th anniversary, they put a team book together. But there's an insidious twist where they switched not bodies, but they switched powers. So you got Aquaman shooting arrows. And you got it's a Freaky Friday scenario.
It's their 80th anniversary. That's sweet. 80 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe Deep Target is appropriately titled.
I could see how I could see how people aren't jiving on that concept. Yeah.
It's just a stupid missed opportunity. They could have easily gone with a Brave and the Bold approach. Team up somehow, their villains team up something. Anything but this. Anything. Yeah. It's written by...
Imagine going from powers to just being a guy. Awful.
Yeah, I think there's even some instances where he's getting shot and it hurts. But no, so he's like a super archer or whatever you want to call that. Oh, he's a very good archer. He's not super. I don't know. It's written by Brandon Thomas, who has done some good stuff, but he's writing the Aqualad book right now, the Aquaman The Becoming with Jackson Hyde, which also is kind of vanilla. I mean, I'll tell you right off the bat, they export. So that book is definitely not on my list. So I dropped Aquaman The Becoming and thought maybe I'll get a trade for $9 in the near future. It just was such a rough approach to a miniseries, which is 6 issues altogether. Like spoilers, they fell with the trope of somebody's out to kill Jackson and they finally catch them, and it ends up being the long lost sibling of Jackson from nowhere. Yeah, like the half child that came out of nowhere. Sometimes that trope works, sometimes it doesn't.
So do they just switch powers, or do they switch bodies completely?
Not bodies, it's powers.
Just powers. Okay, so Oliver Quinn is still Oliver Quinn. It's not like Aquaman inside Oliver Quinn's body.
Right, but I mean, you got Oliver Queen under the seas at this throne with a trident, with the beard. And you got...
Okay, so that's like, I was like, how are they going to play it off? Like, because I think Oliver's with Black Canary, right? So
this guy's worried about.
If he's in like Aquaman's body, then she's like, and like, like, is Aquaman going to be douchey and try to get in, without letting her know that it's not really Oliver? Or
he's faithful to Mara.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Wait, what are you saying, Elle?
Huh?
What are you gonna say?
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I know what you're gonna say.
Who is Jackson's siblings' parents?
So it's a half sister with his mom. I don't know who the dad is. I dropped it.
Did the mom know that she had another baby, or?
Yeah, I believe so.
I hope so.
I mean,
yeah,
it's a
hard to
comic
miss.
book. You never know. Like,
That'd
and
be a
their
whole
fish.
nother.
Oh, she could have just laid a bunch of eggs in the water. Is that how
I
they
suppose.
reproduce?
I suppose.
This is
You can
so
make
offensive.
How
you can
is
make a
it
whole series.
offensive? They're fish people, right?
She's a Zabellian,
she
and
just
she's
was
like a
floating by
waterbender.
one day and just let them out. didn't know
like
how many made
48 eggs and only 2 made it.
Yeah, they're special.
Lad,
They're the
Jackson
chosen ones.
They were worthy.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so interesting year for Aquaman fans. Can't be too bitter. I mean, yeah, you're a speciesist. I didn't know that was a word. That's a word. But interesting year.
It is now.
Yeah. But yeah, and on to the next one. Hawkworld is not a book that came out this year. I believe it came out, late 80s, I believe. And,
okay, this isn't the Vendetti run then.
No, it's not the Vendetti run.
Okay.
So this is by Truman, and so this took place in the 80s. So so this is around one of my favorite characters of all time in DC Comics, Hawkman.
Oh, you're gonna see a theme with Ruben's picks.
There's a reason I picked these.
Ruben used to be a furry.
She basically said the same thing last night.
I said, yeah, all the things he sent me, I was like, I'm sensing like a man beast kind of thing. Like
Aquaman is not a beast. He controls the beast.
Yeah, he got a little fish in him. Let's be real. He got a secret gill somewhere.
I guess this is like revenge for making fun of all your mids.
I've never picked a mid in my life.
I think
now that Sergio's not here, let's be real. My picks.
Sergio, where are you at? I know you're listening.
My picks are always on.
Copy and paste all of her mids into the comments.
You know what? I will say I've picked a lot of mid copper drops, but notice I don't ever talk about them again. So.
Actually, I disagree whenever you call them mid. Like the Gotham villains, it wasn't mid, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, so it's in the middle. It's mid.
It could be good.
It's mid.
Boom. Point made.
But
I can eat that. I do. I know I've picked some copper. And you know what though? We had to have a talk about copper drop. That's why a couple times we picked trades, because sometimes it's just not number oneing right. Like there are no number ones. But then you'll have other weeks where it's like 14, 15 number ones dropping all at once and they all sound good. And I'm like, let's space those out a little bit, guys. I'm only one person. And I'm like one of those people who are like, I'm more likely to pick up a number one than I am to pick up an ongoing, just because I'm curious. So
fair enough.
I feel you.
Ruben and your Birdman, Bird World.
So if you're not familiar with the character, Hawkman, created in 1939, he is very special in the sense that he gets reincarnated through space and time, and this is one of his past lives, probably the most that one of his past lives have been explored. So he is basically a police officer on the planet Thanagar, and this was a very interesting read for me. So this is not from 2021, like I said. I became interested in the character last year, and so since then, I've been trying to read all of his gems, all of his like good stuff throughout the years. It's been an incredible like exploration with this character, so much to explore, and I really like it because it takes this was published in the late 80s, and there's such a great sci-fi feel to it. It takes place on another planet, but it's not too over the top cliche sci-fi. It's just it's an incredible. It's 3 issues. So I bought the trade, and then I eventually bought the 3 issues because I love the book so much. This was an incredible, one of the best books I've ever read for so many reasons. The writing, art, and if you just really know the characters, it's just a big treat because you see their past, where they came from, and how they came to be. And Hawkman and Hawkwoman, they find themselves throughout space and time. Like they both get reincarnated together. They both have that ability. They have that gift granted to them from the same deity, and it was just a whole lot of fun because it just kind of it was an origin story in the sense that we see where this reincarnation came from. So Hawkman's name is Carter Hall. This character's name was Qatar Hall, Qatar All, Hol. No, yeah, Hol. And so he's like a space cop, and one of his most famous villains that came from Brave and the Bold, I think from the 50s. His name is Bith. He is like on the planet Thanagar, he was a crime lord, one of those like thirst for power guys, and he tricked Hawkman Hawkman to do some really bad things with some like mind control drugs, and he's a shapeshifter. And so the story continues after this story with them chasing Bith to planet Earth, and that's how they became acquainted with like the Justice League, because they were hunting down this criminal from hundreds of miles away from one planet to another, and it opened the door for John Ostrander's Hawkworld series. So this is a mini of 3, and there's just so much I could talk about this book. It was so great, and I love how it stands alone. If you're worried about anything else, like any kind of tie-ins or any kind of asterisks on the pages, this book stands alone very well. It's on DC Universe Infinite for those in the States. But yeah, it's incredible. And if Hawkman, we got the run last year with Robert Venditti, which was incredible. Have you read that, Joe?
No, but it's definitely something I'm interested in because I've heard a lot of people praise it quite a bit. And Venditti supposedly just hit it out of the park with the. I know a lot of people were upset when it got canceled. I think it made it to what, 30 issues?
29, but it did
29, yeah, and it wrapped up I think in the middle of last year. Or,
it wrapped up last year. But I mean, he wrapped it up with a really with a fine knit bow. Like it was a good ending. He had a lot more plans.
I think when they announced it, I think he still had 5 issues left or something. He had a good number of issues left when it got announced that it wasn't coming back. So I think he had plenty of time to kind of, like you say, put a nice little bow on it and finish up the story fairly well.
Yeah. But I was satisfied. I mean, his greatest characters, like his biggest enemies, were able to be in the book, like for Year of the Villain, and he finished the series with I think is his greatest villain, greatest adversary, who is Hoth Set, who also reincarnates to get revenge on them time and time again, to be the one to keep killing them, which was great. Yeah, so Jeff Johns wrote Hawkman back in the early 2000s, and his work was great, but it just didn't really solidify it didn't really help with the stigma of Hawkman being confusing, and Venditti just did an immaculate job with clearing the air on any kind of confusion on the character.
Yeah.
Why he reincarnates, how it happens, and just
that's what I heard.
That works.
That's what I heard about the Venditti run. Like the comment I've heard is you don't even have to be a Hawkman fan. You just have to be a comic fan. It's like a really great book. Like, it has like you won't be lost if you don't have a good understanding of the background of Hawkman and stuff. Like I think from what I've understood, Venditti's run, you can pick it up from start to finish, and it'll be a fantastic read for anyone that
Definitely.
Familiar or not with the character, yeah.
Yeah, you could have never heard of the character, start with a Venditti run, and it's smooth sailing. I guess it's a treat if you've read him before, because you just see these characters pop up, and you see some villains you've never seen, haven't seen for years. But bottom line, it's a fantastic starting point for Hawkman fans, or for Hawkman if you want to get into the character. Also on DC Universe Infinite and available in 4 trades. Great, fantastic art. If I knew I was going to go on this rant, I would have included one of my favorite covers, which was a variant for #1 for the Venditti by Sejic. I don't know how to say his first name, Sejic. But yeah, fantastic. And strangely enough, this character for Hawk World, it's not Carter Hall, it's not the main Hawkman, but I just think that what I mean is I just love this book so much, and it wasn't even like the main identity of Hawkman. It was one of his past lives, and I just think that this fuels my love for the character of how unique he is and how much there is to explore. Venditti even created a Kryptonian Hawk life. So they meet a Kryptonian who he had the Hawk symbol, but that was shaped like a Superman symbol.
Okay.
Yeah, that one got a lot of praise, and so people were just like, "How about a miniseries?" So again, just so much to explore with his identities and his past lives. But I could talk about this all day, so I'll hit the brakes and go to my next gem. Man Bat was a book that I just I didn't expect to see this year.
Another man beast.
This is the second beast.
Third.
And second, but you messed me up. So this this was a character. This is a character that I've really been interested in a while. I've loved Batman for so long, and I've loved his villains. Arguably the greatest rogues gallery in comics. He rivals Spider-Man, Superman, and I don't know why I'm interested in this character. He's just fascinating. I think there's so much potential for him on the big screen. Batman became Batman because he has a fear of bats, and this character is just a scientist who is shooting for the stars with a serum, fascinated by bats as well. I've seen him in a whole lot of the animated series, like Batman the Animated Series or the Batman, the Arkham games.
Logistically, though, what are the odds that a bat lover scientist guy would just happen to be born into a world where Batman is
because comics.
I'm not as familiar with Man Bat, but I did read Justice League Dark, and Man Bat's in it. Is this the same Man Bat, or is it a different character? Is it a different person as Man Bat? Like, has there been several iterations of it, or has it always been the same person that has been Man Bat throughout? Or
it's always been the same person, Kirk Langstrom.
Okay.
So this story, this miniseries, takes place before Justice League Dark.
Okay.
So I picked this cover because it's my favorite cover of the series. It's badass.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. And so him going on Justice League Dark was kind of like his penance. So he gets sent to jail, and Wonder Woman chimes in, just like, "Hey, do you want to do something else with your life?" And so he gets recruited. Surprisingly enough, I haven't gotten to read Justice League Dark. I really want to, but I'm just like, man, the omnibus just dropped, and I might just buy that. I'm really interested in it. I mean, people have been enjoying Justice League Dark over the actual Justice League run here
they've
recently.
had some. I mean, for like a niche book in the DC universe, they've had some fantastic writers on it. So
I've always preferred JLD to like if I'm gonna pick one or the other, I pick up JLD.
Yeah, and it pisses me off that they put it as a backstory in the new Justice Leagues. Like, what a horrible decision by DC to do that.
Well, I was gonna say, DC, a lot of weirdness happened last year, a lot of layoffs, and they cut a ton of titles. And so, I mean, I'm glad they chose to
But
keep
then they
this
put out
somewhere.
Deep Strike, so I mean, you know, choices were made.
Decisions were made here. But yeah, I'm excited to dive into it. That's definitely a book that it's just like, I want to read it, but how should I read it? Should I go ahead and pull the trigger and get the omnibus? There's the New 52 and the Rebirth
I
era.
love the New 52.
Really?
JLD, yeah.
Yeah. Is Swamp Thing in that one?
I think Swamp is.
Yeah.
I think Swamp is.
I said I think Swamp. Since they're just reversing names.
Crazy.
Yeah, he's in the New 52, yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, this was a really great treat. Like, I just came out of nowhere. I've been interested in the character for a while. Like, my favorite Batman villains aren't your it's not Joker. I love
Calendar
Man-Bat,
Man.
Scarecrow.
He said
Scarecrow. And I mean, I love Mad Hatter. I'm interested. I think there's so much potential, but that character got a lot more love back in the day versus I don't even remember the last time we've seen that character on a comic panel in Batman. Oh wait, no, actually, he was in the Villains anthology. I
think a lot of them were, huh? Gotham City villains.
Yeah, you're right. You might be onto something. But this is a really good treat because what I like about what happens in comics is when they deep dive into like these other characters, villains, supporting characters, and not just the same stories with the main character. You know, of course, we have a ton of Batman titles, but they still managed to squeeze this one out and explore Kirk Langstrom and his relationship with his wife and his relationship with his sister, whom he was trying to save because she is hard of hearing. And so he was trying to develop a serum to extract the abilities of a bat with the super hearing and contribute to science, but ultimately help his sister. And it was a really big conflict because he felt he needed to stick with the bat serum, the Batman Man-Bat transformation, and Batman intervened. The Suicide Squad intervenes. Scarecrow gets involved because he wants to take all of his work. There's just a lot going on, but a lot focused on Kirk Langstrom and just an exploration with what's going through his head. I am just a sucker for exploring villains and why they do what they do, and just.
How many issues was this run?
This was a mini series of 5.
5 issues? Okay.
And the trade is out, and I got the trade. I collected all 5 issues. It was a whole lot of fun. It really did justice to the character and just made him a big threat to Batman and to all who tried to cross him. And he was just kicking and punching and just fighting off whoever he needed to for the benefit of himself, his sister, his wife, and yeah. And now he's on Task Force Z. The Batman villain zombie book led by Jason Todd. So that's pretty cool. But this was a just super fun read. I look forward to it when it was released. Just the anticipation of what they were going to do with this character. And I believe this is Man-Bat's 3rd mini-series, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because I was about to say, I'm pretty sure I read the first 3 issues of this is of just Man-Bat. That's the one that came out this year.
Yeah.
I read the first 3 issues, and for whatever reason, I just haven't finished reading it.
Okay.
But I'm obsessed with the B cover for the run this year. Have you seen it?
For number 1?
Yeah.
Where he's like a little green bat flying.
Yeah, he's just a little green guy. Just catching a breeze.
In his jean shorts.
in his capris. Yeah.
I didn't get to. My shop ran out of that cover, but I know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna have to go on eBay and get that because I have the A cover. I didn't know that this B cover existed, and now I kind of need it.
Okay, I'll drop my address so you find it on eBay and send it to me.
No, thank you.
But yeah, written by David Weegslows. Don't know how to say his
There
name,
you
and I'm not
go.
even gonna try. Weegslows.
You got to accentuate the O.
Weegslows.
I don't know how to say it. I was just.
I don't either. I know. The art was fantastic. If you've ever like I don't know, it's a great starting point. They explore the character in great detail. So there are other miniseries from Man-Bat from like the 90s and early 2000s. So but this one stands alone. So check it out. So as I said, this year was like a enlightening year for me for comics. And this is my first year having a pull, having a collector's box at my LCS. First book I put on there was Swamp Thing by Rom V. I loved this book. This was another character that I had always been interested in, and just read a couple things. I watched the show, which was criminally, wrongfully canceled, and it was a fantastic show.
Yes, I agree. I loved it. We loved it. My wife and I, we when we found out it was canceled, we're like, what the? There's so many other shows out there that I don't know. It's hard to understand sometimes.
Yeah, Swamp Thing canceled after one episode, but Titans gets 4 or 5 seasons.
I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Well,
that should have been one episode and canceled. No shade.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan
of Green
Arrow.
You don't know how many nights like my husband would be watching it, and I'm like, oh, I got laundry to do. Like, let me be domestic all of a sudden. I fucking hated Green Arrow.
I was not a big fan either. That's why. But I did enjoy Flash. But because he was introduced through Arrow, I was like, oh, I don't know, because it left. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the CW universe.
No.
I've heard Stargirl's good, so I might give that a chance, but it's on Amazon
My thing with
now.
Stargirl though is I'm like, I heard it was good too, but I'm like, if you guys put out one more blonde-haired, blue-eyed, super patriotic character, I'm fucking out. Like, can we? And then they announced Peacemaker, and I said, come on, like, but I'm gonna watch it, but I'm like, come on.
That's different though.
Is it?
Yeah, it's.
I hear what you're saying, but. Aesthetically,
I didn't say anything.
No, okay. You want me to spell it out on Kwanzaa?
I hear what you're saying, but I'm done listening.
Hey, we got. I mean, Naomi's coming out. I'll get.
Not you dropping Naomi. Come on now, that looks awful.
But I agree.
That teaser looks awful.
I agree, though. It was a crime to society to cancel Swamp Thing after one season, which I thought was fantastic as well. So
it got canceled after one episode. They like.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the first episode premiere in the morning. Next morning, I woke up and then it said Variety canceled after one. I think that article, but they kept it going. So I was like, any hope you had of this getting views, you just shot yourself in the foot. Because people are gonna be like, "Why should I keep watching this?"
I ended up watching it after I knew it was canceled, and I thought, like, visually, it's probably one of the better DC shows. Like, it's the aesthetics in it and everything. It was so good.
Yes, the practical effects were fantastic. I don't know. It's too bad.
It was all so perfect. Blue Devil, that was amazing.
Yeah, the casting was pretty funny on that too. Yeah.
And I forget her name, but the girl who played Abby Arcane, she's amazing, and she nailed the role. But this series was just probably the most excited I had been for. Like, every time I saw it that it was coming out, like on going to be on my pull list whenever I go visit the LCS next. I was super excited for it because
agree.
Ron V was just killing it. I love Layla Starr, and then this came out. Well, first I read the Future State Swamp Thing, picked that up digitally, and then I was just that was kind of like the icing on the cake for me to just pick up the series. And the art, and when I say the art, I mean the pencils, the coloring. It's all been so perfect. This team is just like great. Like they work so well together. They just
the first time I saw them together, Rom V and Perkins, was when they did the Halloween special. Have you go pick that up? Yeah, they worked on that. Was like they did one of the stories in the Halloween special, and when I saw that, I was like, oh, they could probably do something special with Swamp Thing. And then they came out with the Future State, like you said, and then they put them on this, and I was like, when I saw that Halloween special, I was like, ooh, that could be a good team that would work in the future. And sure enough, they came out later on, and they got the book, which was awesome. Yeah, but if you haven't read the Halloween special, go get it. It's definitely a good read, that one.
Yeah, that was good. I'd say like all but like 2 of those were great.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm glad they did that. That was the first. The Halloween special was the first we saw him in his own book since like New 52.
Yeah.
So that was super cool.
Yeah.
But there's just so much to appreciate about this book, and I haven't even like I haven't really dug too deep into Swamp Thing books. Like I haven't read Alan Moore, and I know I really need to. His run is legendary. That's where we met Constantine. But I know, even though I haven't read all these other books, that this is just fantastic and does the previous Lord justice. What I really like is that we're able to start with this book and get introduced to this new character, Levi, who is a new avatar of the Green. And getting to know him has been just as fun as seeing him in action as Swamp Thing, because we learned about his family, his rivalry with his brother, which is super cool, a great dynamic to include in a Swamp book, and his relationship with his friend, like they got some chemistry, they got some feelings. And she's a scientist just like he is. I love this book, the art, the variants. I was a little turned off whenever the Suicide Squad got involved. Like, DC, I know you want to promote this movie, but why do you have to mess with a book like this? Come on, put it with Batman, put it with Justice League, something else. But man, if Ron V was forced to write the Suicide Squad into these books, he nailed it. He made it work. He blended it into Swamp Thing. He kept it a Swamp Thing book. This wasn't Swamp Thing versus Suicide Squad. This was he still took the opportunity to explore the character and dive deep with the couple of fights that he had with the Suicide Squad members. And he even helped out Peacemaker by extracting the bomb to his neck with, Swamp's ability. And that kind of took a turn with Peacemaker on the team. So now he's kind of going rogue. So this story, it wasn't a force. I mean, it might have been forced, but Ron made it work, and it actually had value to it. So I thought that was super cool, and it's great to take ownership of your book. Yeah, love this book. Loving Swampy. I love that other people felt the same, and this got extended to 16 issues. And Ron V hinted once again that if the numbers are there, it's going to become even more or be an ongoing. So I'm super excited for that.
Have you added the Lemire Swamp Thing to your list? That's dropping in. Is it in January or February?
Oh, Greenhouse.
That's this month.
It's this month.
Oh wait, no, it's January. It's January. You're right.
January. Well, yeah. Well, but pretty damn close to this month. Yeah. So,
it's like next week.
Yeah, I've got that on my pool as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. It'll be my first time collecting prestige formats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on Black Label, so I'll find some way to store those somewhere. I don't want to buy a box just for this 3-issue series.
Yeah.
I have a magazine box. You can get magazine box. That's how I store my prestige.
I never collected magazines.
I mean, they're magazine sized, so they're wider. So they
No, I know, but like I don't collect
magazines. Oh, okay.
But you can buy those magazine holders, like just a little fold out boxes, just for regular magazines. If you don't want to buy a whole like box, you can buy the little holders. When I first started getting them, that's how I did it. Because I don't get that many prestige as well. It's not as common as the regular size. So I started like that. And then once I had enough to fill a box, then I invested in a box.
I think Scout started doing that. Like, you can get the prestige format #1 or regular size. Like around the time, what was the name of the book? It started with a P.
Scout?
It was like a Cinderella story. It came out not too long ago about the dressmaker that was like a robot. You're like, what?
Oh, oh yes,
Starts
I
with
know
a
it.
didn't
P.
know
Yes,
that.
I have that. I just haven't read it yet. I know which one you're. I know exactly which one you're talking about. I don't know. It's. I don't. Yeah.
Porcelain. No, not porcelain. It starts
No.
with a P though.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I just can't think of it right now. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited for that. I just hope it's good. I know it takes place in the future. Um, Green Hell, but I mean Lemire's great, fantastic.
Mhm.
But it's been a I don't remember the last time
Oh,
he's
corset.
written a book.
You really said it started with a P like 3 times.
Poor set.
Corset, yeah.
But I'll
Ah,
say
that's
poor
it. Yeah.
set.
Yeah.
But it's been years since Lemire that I know of has written a book for the big two. Um, last thing I remember was his Animal Man from New 52.
He's doing
Great.
Robin and Batman, right?
Now
Oh yeah.
he did that with the Joker. This it was a prestige format as well. The Joker one.
Oh
Um,
okay.
Andres. Yeah. Yeah. He
Um,
does a few things here and there.
yeah. So
And
we'll
you
see.
wanted
I
to
mean,
touch on Layla and Reptile?
yes, Layla is a book that I loved picking up. It was my second indie book to collect, and it was a gem. It was just man, it's a good way to describe it. I just was captivated. Like each issue, the approach that it's just like not everybody can write a book like that, but Ron V, I don't know who else can write a story through the perspective of a cigarette.
Yeah, that's my favorite issue. You know what? And you know what's funny is I don't even put Layla on any of my top lists because I feel like it's a given. Like
Yeah,
it
Mhm.
was so good that I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna keep like if you guys I feel like we've talked about this book so much this year that that whole thing where we were talking about where so many people talk about something and then it
Mhm.
doesn't live up to the hype, like, I'm done talking about it. Like go read it.
Mhm.
that's exactly how I felt about Home. Like that could have been on my top, but I mean, I'm even burnt out of talking about it. Like it's been our center of our conversation a lot this year.
Yeah.
Fantastic series, collected every cover, but uh, time to move on to some other great books. And Layla Starr was just
Oh shit, I never
fantastic.
plugged in my computer.
Layla Starr was
Go
great
ahead
from
with your
start to
top there,
finish,
Ruben.
and the variants were a treat, which is making it all that more enticing to get the trade because it'll just be fun to have all those
The
awesome
pinup.
variants in one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've probably spent the most money on Layla Starr.
really?
Well, besides Ice Cream Man, we don't count that. And you know what, Joe? I know I said, "Oh, I'm not gonna buy any more variant covers," and then I was checking my email, like my shop app notification popped up, and I did order 3 27 variants. So I mean, it is
Of
what it
Ice
is.
Cream Man.
The one that comes out next week, yeah. I did order 3 variants for that. But in my defense, they were cool. So
They're cool.
but besides Ice Cream Man, which we don't count, Layla's because that's like again like Layla. It's a given. I spend too much money on Ice Cream Man, but Layla was probably what I spent the most on because I got the virgins, the
Mhm.
foils, the ABs, and
You
then
get a
I
plug for those
saw a couple
foils.
store variants that I had never seen before that I see on eBay. So I might have to, they're not over 30 though, Joe. So we're all good.
There you go.
And
Yeah,
Reptile,
Reptile was my. Um, I mean, so it was a mini series, and I'll show you this right here. This series was announced. I picked up the solicitations that are in the books, the little comic book looking solicitations at comic shops, and I saw this in there in an ad, uh, and I was just like, "Who the heck is this character?" And I looked it up, and I found out that this is a Mexican American hero, loves dinosaurs, has the ability to take the dinosaurs' traits, like he can get raptor claws, he can get a brontosaurus's neck, ankylosaurus's tail, and fight bad guys like that. I just resonated so much with this character. I loved just the uniqueness to him. I mean, he's not Beast Boy. He can't. It's really tough for him to transform into a dinosaur completely. He just inherits the traits. He gets a Triceratops head.
More like Animal Man, but all prehistoric. He channels prehistoric animals.
Yeah, but like you can actually see it with this character.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes you see him kind of go chimera, like Triceratops head, Ankylosaurus tail, raptor claws. Yeah.
It sounds like no shade at all, but it sounds like my 5-year-old wrote it and he just like wrote down all his favorite dinosaurs and was like
Are you sure there wasn't a little shade in there?
No shade at all, but it sounds fun, like something like kids would like, because like, oh, I'm a T-Rex head, but I got long arms or wings. Like, it's fun. That's what I mean. But it does sound like something my 5-year-old would draw or something.
Yeah, I feel you. No shade.
I promise, no shade.
No, I got you. I'm just kidding.
Basically, what you're saying is it's a fun book. That probably is it. Could it be read by anyone? Is it general? Like can like a 10-year-old pick it up? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. That's good. I mean, it's rated 13 and up, but I'm sure
13. Okay, yeah, a 10-year-old would. Okay,
what was Becoming? Was that 13 up? Aquaman.
Becoming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because my 10-year-old, she liked it. I didn't care for it, but she goes, oh, but you know what, Joe? My 10-year-old reads Willy's Wonderland. She has no idea. She goes, it's only been 2 issues, but it's funny because after she's done reading it, I have no idea what just happened, but I know I liked it. And I'm like, okay. And then I went back and I read the first one and I said, ooh, maybe I should have read it before because my bad, but you're practically an adult at 10, so.
I was gonna say that this was my first Marvel book to collect, but this was after the Beta Ray Bill miniseries, which was a whole lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I loved Reptile. I love the approach. This is whenever I was completing my master's thesis, and I was entertaining the topic to be a content analysis on minority representation in comic and graphic novels. Okay. So I was kind of on fire and just kind of fascinated with any person of color getting a main title or a series. And the other things that came out, like Voices or the Festival of Heroes, just all those kind of anthologies like that. So, but I love the book. I love what they did. I wish it was more than 4 issues. It was a 4-issue mini. Stood alone. He has a one-off from years ago with his first appearance. But it was a whole lot of fun. You kind of get into the feels a little bit with him losing his parents, and the writer Terry Blas just did justice and shine a light on their Mexican culture, and he created a new character, which was his name was Humberto, and gave him a cousin, and that cousin is now at Strange Academy learning her powers.
And un primo.
Prima.
Oh, Prima. It's a girl cousin. Una prima.
Ava, yeah. So, yeah, a lot of fun. I collected every cover because they were all great, and it was just a joy to collect and just a treat. That came out alongside Home, so it was a good time for brown characters. And I didn't put this on the list, but a little food for thought. I've always mostly been a DC guy, but I've always been fascinated with Marvel characters. When I was a little kid, I loved and absolutely adored X-Men so much. But from what I understand, X-Men is kind of at a low right now in their books. It's kind of chaotic and convoluted.
Yeah, I think they lost their focus, I think, and went way too all over the place. So
yeah, I grew up with the animated series and the movies, so I enjoyed the discrimination, fighting for mutant rights, and
you enjoyed
Civil
the
War.
discrimination.
I enjoyed those plots.
Interesting wording. Go ahead.
Elle, you're not the only POC here.
You said what you said. I didn't say anything. You enjoy discriminating.
I enjoy the plots, the stories.
As a verb or adjective?
I'm done. But so I grew up on the like Civil War, like mutants, good mutants versus bad mutants, and so right now it just seems kind of crazy with all the stuff they have going on with Krakoa. But so as much as I would like to have collected X-Men, I didn't. But I did collect my first Marvel ongoing series, which was Moon Knight. And so he's never really stood out to me as a character, but I just saw an opportunity for #1, and I thought, shoot, like, why not
jump on? Yeah,
why not jump on? And some Moon Knight fanatics said, they missed this, they missed that. But as a reader, as a consumer, I'm enjoying it. Like, I think it's a lot of fun.
We're getting to meet. Yeah, you can jump in. This is a really good jumping in point. Is this series right here?
I just heard they didn't really touch too much on his DID in the first couple issues, but I think
it's implied. I thought it was implied. I didn't.
I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot of it. At least not that I know of. But
it's only 6 issues in too, so it's like build up to that. That's why I think it's good for newer readers, because there's kind of some mystery about, like, he does seem a little unhinged sometimes because he does go back and forth between speaking styles, and they write that very well.
Yeah. I didn't know you were collecting it.
Yeah, I read books.
Read books.
Good to know.
Yeah, no, I've been reading the new Moon Knight. I've always been kind of sketch on his past runs, only because there's a lot of there's a lot of racial undertones and things and choices they made with the character that I don't that is questionable. And so I was curious how they were gonna, update it a little bit, especially with the show coming out. And the political climate, like how they were going to tackle some stuff. So I'm going to keep reading it because I am curious to see what creative choices they make with that.
Yeah,
his backstory is a little sus, but
I like how it took so long to see his face, like for a new reader. I just like, are we ever going to see what's under there? I don't know anything about the character. You're trying to see what was
behind the cowl, huh?
Behind the curtains. But so as a reader, as a first timer for this character, I'm enjoying it. My favorite Marvel character is Daredevil, but for one, I missed that with Zdarsky run, and two, I feel like Daredevil would read so much better in an omnibus.
They do have the deluxe hardcovers, I think, for Chip's runs.
Yeah,
I don't know how hard it is to find the first 2 volumes, but I think volume 3 is dropping in February. So
I think Chip is going to be done after Devil's Reign, from what I understand. I could be wrong.
I think there's like an issue or 2 after Devil's Reign, he said, and then that's it.
Side note, I'm not looking forward to whatever tie-in they're going to give Moon Knight with Devil's Reign.
Yeah.
Tie-ins are so hit or miss. Like, stop distracting us. Like, let us focus on this character. Daredevil's already selling well. Leave the other characters alone. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. But yeah, if Zdarsky is going to be done after 35, then I think they'll collect Diana and Omni in the next year or 2. So I think I'll wait for that, especially since I've heard nothing but good things about this run. But I have talked a whole lot, Elle. I'm handing the mic to you. Fire away.
Oh, the microphone, huh?
Oh, we're doing Elle? I thought this was the end of the show.
I mean, we could wrap it up.
No, I'm interested to hear what you have to say, Elle. Let's go.
What if it was all of Ruben's picks? So we're going to talk about Man-Bat again.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite books this year was Everyone is Tulip. Nicole Go, Dave Baker. Dave Baker wrote, which, you know what? It kind of threw me off a little bit because Dave Baker is the same Dave Baker that did Night Hunters. And I felt like Night Hunters was such tonally a completely different situation. And so that really surprised me when I found that out.
So it has some range. He has some range as a writer. Nice.
And so Everyone is Tulip it's about this girl, Becca, who's like, it was a graphic novel, OGN. And I think it was Dark Horse.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And it's just kind of, I think it's a riff on, if anybody remembers, like Poppy and Mars Argo and Titanic Sinclair. It's like a riff off of that, but it's basically just like all the negative and toxicity of the internet and how disposable influencers are and stuff. But it's done very well. The art is really good. Like, I'm obsessed with the art in this book.
That is super cool.
For a book that's like so dark, it's like really bright. And I think that's also like a testament to what they're trying to say about the internet and how fast everything moves in those terms. And then the autumnal. Say it, Joe.
Yep. Autumnal?
Autumnal?
Yeah. Autumnal? Take your pick.
So this is about
tomato, man. Say it however you like,
The autumn. So again, Daniel Krauss, I think he's usually a horror writer. Like he writes a lot of like Ramiro stuff. And then Chris Sheehan. I love Chris Sheehan. And Wordy and Campbell. And it's about a single mom who goes back to her hometown of Comfort Notch. Sinister stuff happens. How far do you think they're going to take it? And then they take it a little bit too far, because I didn't expect that ending. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you haven't read it, it's only 8 issues. It's Vault. I think, I can't remember if this, because I know Vault's, their horror imprint is Nightfall.
Yeah, Nightfall. I think it was part of Nightfall, yeah.
And so basically the leaves, like anytime you see a leaf in the book, just it's a warning. And so there was one point where, not to spoil anything, but I think I included this. I did. So they're clearly having sex outside, right? But listen, hear me out. So I didn't know if that little splash was like,
a defect from the printing.
I didn't know if it was like an artistic choice or if it was like body fluid. And so tell me why. So this was in like the 3rd issue, I think, around the 3rd issue. Tell me why. I knew the leaves were like a part of whatever entity, because they burned. They did not want the leaves around. You're not supposed to keep leaves around and stuff. So tell me why I thought, I'm like, oh, that's gonna fall to the earth, and then the leaf. You see the little sproutling right there?
Yeah.
I was like, he's getting the earth pregnant. Like it's gonna be like a human earth monster thing. I don't know, but that's definitely not what the book is about. But I got so excited. I was like, am I an investigator? Because I figured this out in book 3. But it's not. I mean, it kind of, but not really. Like, definitely far off.
Yeah.
And then my next favorite book was Fear Case, which again, Dark Horse. Yeah. And Matt, I never know how to say this guy's name.
Kent. I say Ken. Matt Ken.
And then the team of Tyler and Hillary Jenkins, who, I mean, the art in this is just one of my favorite. But it's
I just appreciate that you're a horror junkie so much.
You know what, though? I wouldn't even say... I'd say that I like books that happen to be horror.
And movies and TV shows.
Yeah, well, okay.
Other mediums.
I like human suffering. What can I say? I'm honestly more of like a human experience reader.
As we witness every time Ruben's on, you try to make him suffer as much as possible.
Thank you.
No, if it means... I know you heard the Aquaman discourse. He made me listen to him talk about Aquaman.
She is a bully, man. A bully.
So Fear Case is about...
She's the Elle and bully.
Fear Case is about the secret, like the world's oldest case, which happens to also be in a physical case. And it's like all the bad things in life, like hatred and all that stuff, is inside of this like briefcase, and you have to like pass it off to somebody, or because if you keep it, it's going to come onto yourself or whatever. And so
which I think is a pretty common in horror movies, to that kind of the plot of you have to you have to pass a curse on if
like
you
a
don't want it
chainmail
to.
situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And what made this one stand out to me is I feel like it did what, like, I love Department of Truth, but I felt like it did what Department of Truth was trying to do in like 4 issues. Like let's just cut to the root of the evil,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so I thought it was so, and for it to come out to like right in like the throes of Department of Truth, I felt like so many people were overlooking it. And especially with the art, like there's some very like grotesque scenes in this series, but Tyler and Hillary, like on the art, it's so beautiful, like the way that they blend the colorings and the way they go from like sketchy to watercolor. Really fantastic series. I would say get the trade, not the singles. I felt like Dark Horse, I love Dark Horse, but the singles felt like tissue paper for this series.
Yeah, that's my. Yeah,
so they felt like Marvel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But maybe even a little worse.
Worse because
Yeah.
they would print the last pages on the back page. So I'm like, oh no, because sometimes like in Marvel or DC, even if something happens to the cover, you have like a page of ads or something. Like you'll be fine. But no, this was like literally I had to tell don't go near my books because you ruin the back of the book. You can't read the final page. And I think some of them even started on the back of the first page.
Yeah, that's probably one of my only gripes with Dark Horse is the actual quality of the product, like the paper and but everything else is great about Dark Horse. But I do agree with you. They do make the physical copies are pretty flimsy. The floppies.
This one just felt, I don't know, and maybe it was like a mental thing where I felt they used water to create a lot of these images, and so when I'm holding it, I'm like, oh, this page is so fragile. I gotta be super careful.
No, Dark Horse prints on Kleenex, man, basically.
Oh. And then another book that I really enjoyed this year was Casual Fling. Listen,
saucy.
Not even saucy, because I purposely picked pages that had no to minimal sexual content, because I felt like the actual point of the story was overlooked. Especially, and I, not to turn this into like men are from Mars or whatever that saying is from like 19, but like I feel like a lot of men focus so much on the infidelity aspect of the story that the actual story was kind of lost, and I felt like it was more a story of like depression, neglect, like what happens when you neglect a relationship. It's not necessarily that she stepped out of their relationship, because the premise of the story, I should say, is that a woman has a one night stand with somebody who's not her husband, and the man ends up blackmailing her with video, and it turns out it's like a ring. Like he's doing it to a lot of women.
He purposely goes out, targets women that are in like maybe a bad situation in their relationship, and takes advantage of that situation, to manipulate their feelings, their emotions. I mean, and it can go both ways that as well. So I mean, that's not purely a gender thing, that works both ways. And
it was just in this specific situation, like her husband is a stay-at-home dad, so I feel like there's a lot of empathy for him having to take on that role, and I get it. I get it. However, like on the flip side of that, we also, it's like there's a lot of gender politics in this book, I'll say. But I will also say that I 100% believe that if the shoes were on the other feet and, her husband had the affair and some woman was blackmailing him, like, I'm going to post the tape, it's not as salacious. It's not as seedy. It's probably more commonplace. It's like, ew, you did something gross, but like, go take care of your family. You know what I mean? Like, it would not be perceived the same. And I never thought that the main character was a bad person. I think she's lost. I think that her adult relationship with her husband is not where it should be because she's working all the time. Then there's the kids. I think a lot of the blame was put on like her when he's not doing his job as a husband either, because it's not just about financial support. It's not just about emotional, like it's so many factors. Yeah.
It takes two people to make a relationship work, right?
Right.
You can't depend on just one person to make a relationship work between two people, because a couple is two people. Yeah, a couple, that's why it's called a couple. You're two. So you both have to work at a common goal of making your relationship work. And relationships take a lot of work. And if you're not willing to put that work in, then the relationship is going to suffer. So.
And another thing about the book was like the finality that everybody's opinions I found, like especially on Twitter, like guys on there like, she's out of there. And I'm just like, okay, but the whole point of the story was that not that she cheated, because cheating is just a symptom. It's not the root of the problem. And so like I'm like, y'all they're talking about like, she was willing to risk her family, and I'm like, so you wouldn't work it out. She's just, you're excommunicating, like you're taking the kids, because to me infidelity doesn't mean you're a bad parent. So no. I thought that was kind of, there's a point in the book where he takes the kids and goes to his parents, and I'm like, okay, fine, but like that doesn't mean that she's a bad mom. That doesn't mean even on the flip side, if he was the one who did it, I wouldn't assume that he was a bad dad. So there's a lot of like moving pieces to this story, but unfortunately I think a lot of it got focused on the infidelity part because of the nature, the whole blackmail thing. Yeah. But I'm like, she's a victim too, and I thought that was explored really well in the book, her struggling with she's a victim, but she's also in this other situation she's in, she's the one causing the harm. So it was really interesting how they navigated that. And then No Man Bat. Oh, I don't have slides for that stuff. But yeah, some of the other books I liked this year were Undone by Blood, The Other Side of Eden. I'm not super into Westerns, but that was fantastic. Berserker, I thought was overhyped, but actually really good.
Serial. I haven't heard anything about it, really.
Berserker? Oh my gosh, my sweet angel baby. He's such a... He just needs some compassion and family. He needs people to... I'm talking about Keanu. In the book. Yeah. It's such a good story.
People like it, but they're not crazy about it. Like it's definitely a good book, but I wouldn't say, I haven't seen too many people rip on it. So that's usually a sign that it's a solid read. Yeah.
I feel like it's a book I love, and I just don't talk about it because I know people have hot takes on the whole Kickstarter situation. Yeah. And then even how Boom was doing the covers and then shorting people on the covers, and there was like a whole thing with the variants and the cost of some of them. So I just pretend like nobody else, it's like super indie, nobody knows about this book, like, so I don't talk about it. And then Serial by Terry Moore. I'm gonna be real, I feel like I've probably read some of his stuff before, but I can't tell you what. But Serial is fantastic, and it is a spinoff of Jenny, what's it called? Jenny Rising?
Rachel Rising.
Rachel Rising.
Go read that. That's a fantastic... well, basically anything by Terry Moore is a win. Like, you can't go wrong.
So I had no knowledge of that. I just went into Serial, and you don't really need any knowledge to get into Serial. It's fantastic. I think there's only one issue left.
Yeah, something like that. I think it's 8, right?
And then,
we're at 7.
Hardcover, or no, we're at 9.
9 now? Okay, 10, so it's at 10? Okay.
Yeah. And then The Fall by Jared Maralt. It was a volume. It was a translation from a French or Italian or something book. But it's kind of depressing if you haven't, if you're not into reading about like COVID stuff, because it technically was written before COVID, but it touches on so many things that he really like wrote the future. Like, nobody wants to get in line and do this. Nobody wants to do this. So it just spreads. And then it's like post-apocalyptic at that point.
Is that a magnetic press book?
It is Image or Boom.
Oh, okay.
No, it's technically like an indie. Like he wrote it himself and published it, and then they re-released it in however long ago. But it's fantastic. And then he does the art and the writing for it.
The writing, yeah.
And I just don't know when volume 2 is going to come out because waiting for the translations and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think you can buy it directly from his site too. And then Hollow Heart was really good. I really enjoyed that this year. Red Room, disgusting. I loved it. And I think that's, some of the stuff I've read this year. And then not too mid for you?
A little bit above.
A little bit above, yeah.
A little bit
step
above.
Up.
So again, we're doing the award show on January 9th. It's going to be fun. Next week, we have a couple people on, and we're going to be talking about the nominations and announcing the final nomination list. And then on the 9th is when the actual show is. And if you submit your forms, if you get all of the winners right for all the categories, there is a Batarang replica and a 9.6 Something Is Killing the Children giveaway. If you guys want to plug yourselves. Ruben, you want to plug it?
Unplugged.
Okay. I'm talking about yourself, like where people can find you at.
Oh, I thought you I thought you meant like with the nominees. What's up? Yeah. Follow me right here at Ruben P. Gomez on Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, that's the only platforms I want to talk to you on. So follow me there. I post really bad jokes, and yeah, I'll blow your mind.
If no one guesses right, I win it. And I don't think there's a second place, honestly.
If it is, it's Elle gets it.
And I get to mid place. But I honestly feel like it's attainable because, like, so far, like, from what I've been seeing, a little behind the scenes, everybody's pretty on board with, even the write-ins have all kind of been universal. So it's going to be interesting to see.
I still haven't done mine yet, so.
Oh, yeah?
No,
you're going to, don't want to vote? Don't want to vote, Joe?
Oh, I'm gonna vote. It's most of my picks are gonna be off the board.
Listen, I promise you, like I won't even have to see the email. I already know it's gonna be you because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like Maria Wolf. As soon as I see Maria, I'm like,
Yeah, there's Joe. Fucking him and his obsession with Maria Wolf. Yeah. I guess I'll plug myself as well. So as you can see on the bottom, 00 Joe Pocket. You can find me on that handle on Twitter, as well as I'm actually using Instagram now and kind of figuring it out. So I'm on Instagram posting quite a bit more.
Using GIFs in your posts? Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. I'm making an effort, and you can find me on a show called The Pink Buzz. We usually air live on YouTube on Friday nights under graphic vandalism, so you can find me there as well.
Ruben, you want to go again?
I already went.
Guys, don't forget to join us on the community.
Don't forget to join us on the community.
Hold on, I was trying to read this post. You can find me at Not Exactly Legit on Twitter and Instagram. My Instagram is private, but like you can friend me. I probably accept it. Twitter.
If not, you're not missing much.
Wow, you're saying my kids are ugly?
You post covers and variants. And
do art. I on Instagram?
On stories. Yeah, your stories.
Oh, you don't look at my main page, just my stories.
You don't post that much, I don't think.
I don't. I'm never really not on. I am more of an Instagram stories person than the actual poster.
I'm more of a Twitter fleets guy.
Non-existent? Extinct?
Yeah, discontinued.
What are we selling?
Comics.
Love.
Love. There you go.
Good recommendations.
Okay.
For not just comics, but movies and TV and.
Okay, I'm gonna end it before you start talking about Aquaman again.
Hater.
Ruben, say bye.
Peace.
See you guys.